And we're back. The full court report.
Yes,
I'm back.
We're back. We're back. We're back.
Yeah, welcome back, Justin.
Yes, Justin is finally feeling better.
Yeah, I was feeling a little under the weather last week, everybody, but I'm okay. I'm okay now.
We're good to have him back. Good. It's gonna be a fun episode. We're gonna talk about some trade deadlines, trade deadline news. We already saw some trades being made, but maybe we can project what's gonna happen in the future. But I guess we can start with this news. The Milwaukee Bucks. They went against the grain earlier this week. And rather than waiting for the March 25th trade deadline, they made a move to acquire Houston's PJ Tucker on Wednesday. And the trade that is Milwaukee received PJ Tucker, Rodney Kurucs, and their own 2022 first-round pick. I guess Houston must have had that from a previous trade. For DJ Augustine, DJ Wilson, and a 2023 unprotected first-round pick. Milwaukee also traded Torrey Craig to Phoenix, which is a pretty good pickup for Phoenix, I got to say. Basically just picking up a veteran wing for free. But from the perspective of Milwaukee and acquiring PJ Tucker, what does this do for the Eastern Conference? Does this make them serious finals contenders? Like, does this make them the best team in the East?
I don't know if it makes them the best in the East, but it certainly helps. I think PJ will bring nothing but positive contributions to the team. He's a great shooter from three, especially in the corner, and he's going to bring defense and intensity. It's nothing bad he's going to bring to the team.
Those are a couple of fair points, but in my opinion, I don't think this trade is going to be too impactful in the long run, at least on the side of the Bucks. Just because I don't think, PJ Tucker will help pretty much any team in the NBA, but I don't think that getting him is what they needed to take them to the next level, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure if picking up a, I guess, undersized center or power forward, who, he's good. He's a good defender, but in terms of offense, we got to remember he's only averaging like 4 or 5 points this year, on like 30% shooting from three, which, that's known that like that's his bread and butter is shooting threes, especially corner threes. So although I think this does help, and I think the Bucks did win this trade, ultimately speaking, but I just don't think that acquiring a PJ Tucker I don't think they have what it takes to just compete with the other teams in the East.
I kind of agree. I don't think they have what it takes. I mean, don't get me wrong, Giannis is a great player, but I mean, PJ Tucker's he's gonna be a bench player. He's a bench piece because of this trade. So he
You think so?
He was a starter on the Rockets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But do you think that would make him any better?
No, I think he's a starter. I mean,
who is he gonna start
at the
for?
worst, he's the sixth man.
Well, yeah,
At the
but
very worst.
he'll bring a little, I don't know, a little oomph to the bench if he's coming off the bench. So I don't think there's any problem with that. But I don't know. I still don't think they'll be able to beat the Sixers or the Nets.
So you mentioned, Toby, that he's known for his 3-point shooting. And that's true because the last 3 seasons with the Rockets, he shot 37% from 3 on 4.2 attempts per game. But this season, like you mentioned, he's dropped down to 31.4% shooting from 3, which is a career low on 2.7 attempts per game. But I feel like you have to we praise James Harden for being one of the most elite passers and one of the most elite facilitators the NBA has ever seen. When that's taken away, you have to imagine that the rest of the offense is going to be, hindered because of that. So
Fair.
I think you can't really blame PJ Tucker for, a drop in his numbers, a drop in his percentages so much. You have to remember they lost one of the best players in the NBA as well. I think going to Milwaukee, not being, I don't know if he was necessarily like a top option in Houston, but he's certainly not going to have a lot of defensive attention playing next to Giannis, playing next to Chris Middleton, playing next to Drew Holiday. So I think he's going to get back. I think he's going to find his groove in Milwaukee, which is good. And I think if he does that, and like Justin said, defensively, they're going to wreak havoc. I mean, a lineup with Giannis, PJ Tucker, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton. I mean, when they're all engaged, that is literally like one of the best defensive lineups like you could really put together in the NBA right now, because
Yeah.
That's facts.
like that's just crazy.
Yeah.
But do you think PJ Tucker is going to be able to bring it to the same level that he was on for those postseason runs with the Rockets when he was playing with James Harden?
I think, he has to. He has to.
I don't know. I will say though, I do like Rodion Kuruk's ex-net player, but
I don't really know enough about him to really.
He can just do a little bit. He has a lot of size, or like a decent amount of size, but he could just do a little bit of everything, pretty much: defend, shoot, and drive.
Mm-hmm.
And also, DJ Wilson wasn't really too impactful with the Bucks. I feel like, even though he is young and we're still yet to see what he can be capable of. I just think the Bucks ultimately won this trade.
Yeah,
I feel like PJ Tucker is just going to be like one of those sleeper guys, because I would think that he's going to have an even lesser role on the Bucks than he did when he was, on the Rockets. When he was on the Rockets, obviously a starter. Now he might not even. I mean, Jorie, you said the sixth man. Maybe be the sixth man. Maybe be the sixth man, sixth, seventh, eighth guy off the bench.
I think he's gonna finish a lot of games.
Yeah,
is what's
yeah.
gonna end up happening. Like, I feel like the starting lineup is probably gonna remain the same. Holiday, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Giannis, Brook Lopez. But at the end of games, when teams are gonna have just their five best players in, I would imagine PJ Tucker is gonna be out there a lot, especially if they're playing a team like the Nets, like the Sixers, like whoever, some of the top teams in the East. They're definitely going to want him out there. So,
in my opinion, just to, I guess, kind of wrap it up, sort of. But I just wanted to get in there. I just feel like the Bucks, with some of those trade pieces that they gave up, maybe should have waited a little bit closer to the trade deadline, just to see if there was any other moves that they can make, or even like, obviously I feel like a lot of teams would be going after a PJ Tucker, but if they wanted a good power forward type player, there's a lot of them in the market right now,
John,
especially going into the trade deadline. So maybe they should have waited, but I mean, I could see why they would want to get PJ Tucker early rather than wait. So
yeah, because he's a player that could really play on like any team, and I'm sure a lot of teams wanted him. So it's probably good that they struck first. But we can move on to your guys' teams. I think this is going to be a fun discussion because you gotta express your opinions on this. What happened here? So the New York Knicks, they suffered back-to-back just heartbreaking losses to begin this week. So first against the Brooklyn Nets, a pretty questionable traveling violation was called on Julius Randle with 3.2 seconds remaining in the game as New York trailed by 3 points. They ultimately lost 117 to 112. Then on Tuesday, Manuel quickly, he missed a potential game-tying three with 13 seconds left. And then following an offensive rebound by Julius Randle, Reggie Bullock was called out of bounds with 8.4 seconds left on the clock, and New York lost that game by 3 points, 99 to 96. I mean, Justin, I feel like you gotta. But hey, I gotta give it to you though, because they did pick up a clutch win against the Magic later in the week. Reggie Bullock, I think, redeemed himself, getting a clutch steal against Orlando. So, but
Um,
how you guys feeling about this game, especially the Knicks Nets game? Because that was, I think the Knicks really could have stole that game if they had Derrick Rose. I kept saying that, but who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely hurt us not having D Rose. But I don't know. We were all at your house when we watched it, Jory, when we watched the game. Kyrie tipped it. He did tip that ball, but Julius Randle technically never lost possession of it. So when he comes down with it, I guess like you gotta call the travel because he still had control with both of his hands, had the ball in both of his hands, and just came down with it. I mean, from his point of view, I would have been throwing chairs and trying to fight the ref myself too. Like he had the whole team holding him back. But I don't know. I feel like if we had two of our starting guards, D Rose or Alfred Payton, we would have been fine. And when Mitch comes back, any easy buckets that those Rockets that the Nets or the Sixers were getting in the paint, it's just not there. But that game against the Sixers, we should have won that because they didn't have Embiid. That was we were winning that game at halftime, and we pulled the famous Knicks move. We couldn't close the game.
The famous Knicks.
Yeah, and Justin, you literally predicted it too
Yep.
when we were watching the Nets versus Knicks. You said they were going to come in within like 2 or 3 points, and then you said Julius Randle was just going to somehow choke it. But no,
I don't
I know
know
this
if it's
team too well.
necessarily his fault. I think it was just a tough break for him.
Yeah, it really
But,
was. It was
okay.
just one of those things.
I think it is his fault. No, I'm going to say
Oh
it.
my
I think it
God.
is his fault because
Why?
first of all, he got I guess not stripped, but the ball partially blocked by Kyrie. He can't be doing that when it's a game decision shot. Like,
Hey man, I mean Kyrie was playing good defense.
yeah, he was, but at the same time,
You act like no one's ever been blocked in the clutch.
Yeah.
no. Well, you act like it's not his fault that he got blocked,
Well,
and at the
I
same
mean,
time,
he's
he
not
had
he's not above criticism, but at the same time, like if I was out there and I thought Kyrie swiped the ball on the way up to shooting, I probably would have done the exact same thing, knowing I would have maintained possession and probably gotten an open three.
okay, but he kept both of his hands on the ball the entire time, going up and coming down.
I think what screwed him is that he like forcefully pushed the ball back into the ground. Like if he had just let it drop to the ground and picked it up, I think they probably wouldn't have called it. But like it literally looked like he tried to dribble. So
Yeah.
that's why. I don't know.
But in terms of the what was it? The Knicks Sixers, yeah. I don't know. That was tough. Reggie Bullock, he's I like him. I like him as a player.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's the guy that should be, at least for like a winning team, should be in the lineup with the last minute left. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like I
that's
know
the
you
thing
guys might
about
not have a
this team.
choice.
He's like the
but-
best shooter on the team.
exactly. Like he's our only shooter. Him and Alec Burks
Yeah, Burks,
at the moment.
quickly.
I mean, yeah.
Randall can shoot.
I don't know if I would want like Julius Randle taking a three though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he did
10
against
seconds
Kyrie.
That's the thing I don't like about the Knicks where we are right now is even though I'm going to completely contradict myself as soon as we like kind of move on to the next part of the Knicks, like we don't have that guy. We don't have the finisher. We don't have a finisher right now. Like who is going to give their big man the ball to finish the game other than like
Jokic.
the Nuggets? Yeah, the Nuggets or the Sixers. Like who's going to give it to their big man to try and seal off the game? So, I mean, yeah, D Rose comes back, we would have won that next game. If Alfred and Mitch were there, the Sixers would have stood no chance. Without Embiid, they wouldn't have stood a chance.
Well, Justin, you mentioned you want to contradict yourself. So I guess the next question for the Knicks is, and this is kind of all part of our trade deadline discussion now. Should the Knicks target someone ahead of the trade deadline, or should they just keep the team as currently constructed?
I want you to go, Jorie. I want you to tell everybody what your idea.
All right. Well, I think one player that the Knicks should seriously consider pursuing is Victor Oladipo. And the biggest issue with this, obviously, is that he's going to be a unrestricted free agent after this season, and I believe once he got sent to Houston in that big trade, he was saying that his preferred destination was actually the Miami Heat. So I think if you're a team, anyone outside of Miami, you should be certainly weary of trading for him because he could just leave within a few months. So you don't want to give up all those assets just for him to leave, especially if you don't think that he's going to make you or help you win a championship that year.
Yeah.
But I think New York, they need a all-star caliber player in their backcourt. And while he's dealt with his fair share of injuries in the past, I think he's found his footing a little bit in the month of March, at least with the Rockets. I checked this a few days ago, so it might not be entirely accurate right now. But in, I think, 5 games in March, he's averaging 27 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 5.2 assists. And he's shooting almost 37% from three on 8 attempts per game. So you put that guy on the Knicks. I mean, they have like exactly what you said, Justin, a closer. I think he'd be a really good complement to Julius Randle. And he's a more than capable defender. He was an all defensive first team player just 3 years ago. And he might not be, lockdown defending the best perimeter to player on the other team, but he's really, really good just in help defense and transition defense, putting effort on that side of the floor. And that's exactly what Coach Tom Thibodeau wants. So I think in my eyes, he would be one of like the most perfect players for the Knicks. But again, it's so risky because he could just leave like literally this summer. And I also saw a report because I think the Warriors wanted to trade for him, and they said it's the asking price for Oladipo right now is too steep to even consider. So they're probably asking for way too much. So I don't think it's going to happen, but he's certainly a player I think that would be phenomenal in New York.
I agree, but I disagree at the same time. I agree because Oladipo really would be a great fit. He really would be a great fit. He would be our closer. He's just gonna only help our already like top 3 defense, and he's just a dog. Like he's a dog, and he would fit into New York perfectly because you know how he's a singer and all that. He's a singer. He could walk. He could just play at MSG and go right on the Broadway and do a show if he needed to.
On Broadway. Yeah.
But the one thing that I didn't even think about until now, if we were to trade for an Oladipo or a Levine or somebody like that, it's going to be taking away minutes and touches from RJ. And I'm not sure how I feel about that because RJ's been playing pretty well this season, pretty well. So if we can keep RJ on this track, he might even be better than Victor Oladipo ever was. And then we wasted all that time trading Oladipo just to stunt RJ's growth as a player.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. RJ's definitely stepped up his game. I think he got disrespected a little too much last year as a rookie, but he's definitely
just because he was going up against Zion and
yeah, exactly. That was the only reason he's getting compared to like two of the most like efficient rookies we've seen in years. So
Justin, who do you? I I mean, if you guys were to sign or trade for somebody, who do you think would be that guy?
I don't know, because it's hard. I don't know. I'm one of those guys that like I like a homegrown team. Like I like to build a team. I don't like to, because when I see somebody like a Reggie Bullock on the team who's just like some guy, if we were to get rid of Reggie Bullock, I'd be like, yeah, it's Reggie Bullock. But I'd be like, come on, man, that's my boy. Like it's Reggie Bullock. Like I'm sure you're like that too, Toby, with the Nets. Like you probably did not want to trade Karis LeVert even
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah, that hurt. That one hurt.
Yeah.
Watching him get drafted. But for the Knicks, if I was the GM at this point, I probably would not make any moves, just simply for the fact that I think the Knicks are going to be a playoff team, but aren't good enough to compete for a title, even if they had like a Victor Oladipo or a caliber type player like that. And also, this is just a prediction, but I'm guessing the Knicks aren't going to make any moves, just because I feel like that's a Knick thing to do, just not make any moves. But if they wanted to, just like, I'll say this one piece I think the Knicks would enjoy very much is Malik Beasley on the Timberwolves, who I've heard in some trade rumors, but I would not be surprised if he was dealt. I think he got charged with something that
Yeah, I think.
I don't know what that was, but all I know is that, I mean, he's a bucket, and if you guys were to trade some of those point guard pieces that you have, maybe a couple other pieces, that would definitely be a big upgrade for your team.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Toby. If we could trade anybody, it would be one of those guards. It'd be Frank or Alfred. If we could, I'd get rid of both of them because I hate them both.
But the reason I would keep your team as it is right now is for the main fact that if you guys can get to the playoffs this year and presumably next year, I think that would definitely create buzz, I guess, around the Knicks, which would want to entice free agents to actually join. Sort of like how the Brooklyn Nets did it just a couple years ago.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was going to say, even if we're a playoff team this year, I don't know what the free agent classes are going to look like, but if we get to the playoffs this year and sign somebody in free agency who's just a piece, I don't think we should go. I mean, it depends who's out there. I don't know who's there, but I don't think we should go big this offseason. Sign some, like, just a piece, a nice little solid piece. Next season we go in, and then we make a big splash in free agency, and that's where we go from there. I agree, Toby. I think we should keep the roster as is, or just make a very minuscule, just trade for another piece, just trade for somebody to come off the bench. Because actually, we should trade for another big man. We should trade for big man depth, because at the 4 right now we got Julius, obviously, Obi, who sucks. He plays 10 minutes a game, and Taj Gibson.
No, I think Obi's going to be fine. The
other night against the Magic, I remember I was talking to Spencer about it. This man, Thibodeau, played Taj Gibson 31 minutes and only played Obi 9. Obi played 9 minutes. He's really disrespecting Obi. Like, I don't even like him, but
Taj is his boy, though. He's been with him in Chicago, Minnesota.
Like, he's a rookie, man.
If that guy Tibbs could get Joakim Noah to come out of retirement, I bet he would. I bet he'd get him to come out.
Yeah, Tibbs likes to suck off certain players more than others. So.
Yeah, he does. He really does. Anybody that played on that Bulls team when D Rose got MVP, he could have him on the team forever.
Justin, you had mentioned Lonzo Ball in the past. I don't think that would be a great fit in terms of like the players that you already have, but I think with Tibbs, I think they would mesh really well together.
See, actually, that might be the perfect guy that we should go for in the offseason, because I've been seeing a lot of reports that the Pelicans are willing to match anything up to like 18, 20 mil a year for Lonzo. So if we gave him like a nice 4-year, $80 million deal this offseason, I think we'd be good to go. And then next season, well, I mean, we'd have to do something with Alfred or Frank or somebody, but Lonzo, D Rose, and then IQ, that's a nice little guard combination right there.
Yeah, we'll see. But we'll talk about the Pelicans actually a little bit later. But right now, I want to talk about the Portland Trailblazers move over to the Western Conference because I was watching their game earlier this week. CJ McCollum made his return from injury. He missed 25 games with a right foot injury. So finally coming back to the rotation. But Damian Lillard in this game against the Pelicans had 50 points and 10 assists. And the Blazers beat the Pelicans 125-124, completing a 17-point fourth quarter comeback along the way. And I was like watching this game thinking, all right, so either the Blazers are going to lose, and I'm thinking, all right, maybe they got to do something at the trade deadline. But honestly, I think the fact that they won just confirmed my, I don't know, theory that they need to go all in. And this is why I came up with this trade
I want to
for
hear
the
this.
Blazers.
I want to hear this because Justin was trashing it earlier.
I think the Blazers should trade for Nikola Vucevic.
Okay.
Get
I
one of
like
the
that
best,
part of it. I like that part of
get
it.
one of the best centers in the NBA playing with Dame and CJ. All right, here's the trade that came up with. I think Orlando would send Vucevic to Portland in exchange for Nurkic, Yusuf Nurkic, Rodney Hood, and then one of these three players, either Gary Trent, Anthony Simons, or Nasir Little. So one of those three, and then 2 first-round picks. I think that would be enough to get the Magic on board, first of all. I know that's like, oh yeah, that might be gutting their depth, but you still have Carmelo, you still have Robert Covington, you still have Enes Kanter, and then obviously who's ever left of those two young wings, whether that be Gary Trent, Anthony Simons, or Nasir Little. Obviously, you still have Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Now you add one of the best centers in the NBA. I mean, I think the Blazers with Vucevic in town would literally be able to compete for the NBA Finals in the Western Conference. Because honestly, the way I'm looking at this Western Conference and with the news today that LeBron James is going to be out indefinitely, I think the West is more wide open right now than the East. And the Blazers 2 years ago were a series away from making the finals, and they had to face the KD, Steph, Clay, Draymond Warriors. So, like, this team is really not that far away from being finals contenders. And if you put one of the best centers in the NBA who's been an all-star twice in the past 2 seasons, I mean, who is stopping that team? At least offensively, that's going to be like the most lethal offense potentially in the Western Conference. Because you have a limitless range shooter, 2 limitless range shooters, basically, 2 guys that can get their own shot basically at any moment in time. And then just a big man that you could throw it into to get you a basket whenever you need it. And then Carmelo Anthony, who's one of the greatest scorers of all time. Like, I don't know. I genuinely believe Portland could beat anyone in the West with Vucevic.
Now, I said that this trade was whack, but that's because I misread it. I thought you were giving away all of them. I thought you were giving away Nurkic, Hood, Gary Trent, Simons, and Little. I did not see that either Gary Trent, Anthony Simons, or Little.
Yeah.
So I take back what I said. I actually think this is an amazing trade. Jorie, well done. Because
We'll see.
I do
don't know.
believe that the Magic I've been hearing are looking to move Aaron Gordon, Terrence Ross. Well, yeah, they've been trying to move them. I think I think if they got rid of those two, I don't think they would have a problem getting rid of Husovic because at that point, just rebuild. Because one, your team sucks already as it is. So if you get rid of your 2 or your 3 top options, what else is there on your team? So I think it benefits both sides if we're being honest.
Yeah,
I
I
think it's
mean,
a win-win.
again, they would get first round picks out of it, and then the Magic would get a replacement center who's been essentially resting all season because of injury, and a young wing that has a lot of potential. And either Gary Trent, like one of those three players, is
Mhm.
gonna be like good. Gary Trent probably has like the most potential of the three because he's already shown it. But like one of those three players could really have like, especially on a team like the Magic right now. I
Yeah.
mean, they have nobody. So
Even that guy, what was that? Markel Fultz. Even Markel Fultz somewhat revived his career. That guy
exactly.
sucking nuts on the Sixers, and then he kind of came back.
I don't know if I don't know if I mean I'm thinking about the trade. I think it could work. But Nurkic is a guy that I already like in that in that center spot already. I feel like if they wanted to replace Nurkic with a Vucevic with getting rid of all of those other players, I don't know how much that would help the Blazers long term. Also, Vucevic is, I mean, he's known more for his offense, right? And the Trailblazers, I feel like one of their biggest needs coming into the trade deadline is to try to ramp up the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, Nurkic isn't playing right now, so once he comes back, that'll probably help things out a little bit. I don't know. It's tough. I like it. I hear what you're saying, but I feel like if they can keep Nurkic and maybe get rid of one of those Gary Trents or Nazir Littles and grab, like, I'm trying to think of a player, maybe like a defensive minded four. Nobody's coming to
I
mind.
don't. I just
I
feel
think
like
that's what they have Robert Covington at. I think he's playing the 4. And I think they have Melo at the 3 when those two are in
Yeah.
together.
I just
I
think
do agree though, Toby. I do think they do need defense. That was the one thing.
it's. This is really just a swing for the fences, a last chance
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like Damian Lillard. I know it's like long term. You got to make sure your franchise is good, but like Damian Lillard, I think he's what 30 years old now, almost 31 probably. CJ McCollum is around the same age. Like this is like the prime of this man's career. And if you're not gonna go all in, at least to just try and make the finals, just to say you made the finals, because that definitely changes the outlook of your franchise. Like we talk about the Miami Heat completely differently than we did to start last season because Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat just said, "All right, we can do this. We can get to the finals." I think they can do it. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of you. I like this trade, but then Toby's also right. These guys do need a little bit of defense on their side.
The West is definitely, like, if you can get on the same level as the Suns and the Jazz, because I'm not sure come playoff time if the Lakers, like, they need to get healthy and they need, actually, you mentioned LeBron got injured. I don't know what happened with that.
I think it was
Fine.
the ankle injury. Yeah, it was literally like maybe an hour ago.
Yeah,
I saw
like
that.
literally.
But as long as AD and LeBron are injured until the playoffs, like, it's really anybody, even the Clippers or the, who knows at this point, honestly.
Like,
I
yeah.
didn't even think about this. This this might be a possibility. It's probably won't happen because why would it? But there's a possibility that the Lakers, the players on the Lakers now, because obviously LeBron and AD are out, if these Lakers can develop like a chemistry within themselves, I think that would be really good for the Lakers because when LeBron and AD come back, when they sit, this team will know how to play together without them. Like when they could sit both of them and still be in the game. So
Yeah,
I feel like,
you're right.
I mean, it probably won't happen because I actually heard I think yesterday or the day before that Dennis Schroeder wants to rework his contract. So that might be a little something that could ruin
I
the
think he's a
chemistry of the
I think
team.
he's a
But
free agent. That's why.
oh,
Probably.
so he wants to stay, is what he means?
I think so. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be a
Okay,
free agent
okay,
this
okay.
season.
No, well,
Probably
then
what it's about.
let's
But
respect it.
yeah, I just think the Western Conference, because really the best teams, no one trusts Utah. Maybe we're all stupid for not believing in Utah, but like Phoenix, like I love Chris Paul and I love their team, but like I don't know if I'm necessarily going to take a team that like their entire starting lineup has never played a playoff game
Huh.
in a game against Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Nikola Vucevic. Like
And Carmelo.
I don't know. I don't know if I would do that. We'll
They've
see.
been, they've been so close in the past with
That's what I'm saying. They've
like such a
been
similar
so
team that they
close.
have this year. Like
Like,
Sooner or
it's
later, they're going to get over that hump.
it's hard to pinpoint who that guy that they need is though, because you look at the team as constructed right now, it looks like everything is taken care of, but I don't know. It's I guess we'll see, but I
mm,
definitely think they're gonna make a move. Maybe I was even thinking maybe even Kevin Love. He's been linked there to go there for years,
yeah.
but
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
thinking I'm thinking
About that.
this year might be the year that they just cash out and just go all out.
I think they have to. I think this is that year for them.
Yeah. It's we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if the Blazers are gonna do anything, but I think that's just one thing that I was really considering watching that game.
If they do go all in, the one thing they need to keep in mind, they need this. Their depth is their secret weapon. The Blazers have those guys that can come off the bench that, like, I mean, they got Carmelo. Right now, they have Gary Trent. Who knows what's going to happen with him? And his Cantors, I don't really like him all that much, but he's a pretty solid backup center. So
Yeah.
their depth is their secret weapon. They can't get rid of that. You got to keep that.
Well, let's talk about the team that the Blazers beat, and that's the Pelicans. Pelicans right now are just struggling. They're really not that much better than what they were last year, I think, around this part of the season. 17 and 24, 13th in the Western Conference. I mean, what should New Orleans do? Because like everyone said that they had one of the brightest futures when they got Zion, when they got Brandon Ingram, when they got Lonzo Ball. Oh, this is going to be the brightest future team in the league, and they've just fumbled the bag the past 2 years. And do you think they should make some moves or just kind of go through these growing pains and grow internally?
I want to hear what Toby has to say.
I think, in my opinion, if I was the GM, what I would do is Zion is safe. Brandon Ingram is safe. Everyone else, let me hear your offers. Let me see what you got. And then from there, I guess just keep, I don't know, like it's tough because it's already a young team that they're trying to grow into, like a contending team. But Lonzo is definitely a player who I don't think that they're going to have much success keeping him in New Orleans. And as long as he's on the team, they should definitely try to see, how much they can get for him, because there's a lot of other cities I feel like he would rather, sign with, especially considering the fact that he didn't sign a deal with the Pelicans before the season. So if you can trade him and get a couple of nice either young pieces or draft picks, I think that would definitely be worth it. I don't think they should go for a playoff spot just simply for the fact that I mean, they could. I don't know how far they would get, but when you can get another top draft pick to mix with Ingram, Zion, and I'm pretty sure Ingram and Zion really enjoy playing with each other based off of like what they say about each other. I mean, obviously I don't know, but that's definitely what I would do going into the trade deadline.
I can't believe I say this, but I completely agree with you, Toby. No playoff push. If you're not going to make a playoff push, why make moves for anybody? I do think they should trade for picks. I don't know how it's going to work because
You don't think they have enough picks?
I don't know how many picks do they have?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like in the
they got the
Anthony
Lakers.
Davis trade,
Yeah.
they got like picks for days.
Yeah, well, those are Lakers picks, so
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'll let you finish.
I mean, I was just gonna say, I don't know how it's can work with Lonzo being an unrestricted free agent or no, a restricted free agent. But if they could move him on draft night and just move up in the draft and get that guy Cunningham, bro, Cunningham, Ingram, and whatever his face is, Zion, that'd be a nice little trio, nice little big three. I don't know how it could work with the free agency, but if they could trade Lonzo and something else on draft night.
So you're saying that they should keep Zion or keep Lonzo until after the trade deadline, or
Yeah,
try to
well,
see?
I don't think they're gonna move him. I think all the noise around Lonzo is being able to pay just enough over where the Pelicans won't get rid of him. I've been hearing that they're not gonna trade him.
I heard that too, but I don't know.
I know I think you said this, Toby, a while ago, but I honestly, I want to see LaMelo and Lonzo on the same team.
Yes.
At this point, I'm just like, why? Just let it happen.
It's gotta happen.
Because like it's just, I feel like everyone disrespected Lonzo when he first came into the league on the Lakers. Everyone thought he was soft. And then he just continuously got better as the years gone on, like a number 2 overall pick should. And then LaMelo, who I don't know if everyone thought he was going to be kind of the same way, but he's definitely proven a lot of the doubters wrong. They would have like ultimate chemistry, those two. And they're honestly like a good fit, I feel like, together, especially if they can both shoot. Like, why would you not want like 2 floor generals on the same team with good size, like that can play defense? Like, that would be a crazy
If
team.
we're being honest, I think Charlotte has the pieces that to get Lonzo there if they really wanted him.
I don't know if they want to give up all those pieces, though. I feel like they like what they have, especially, I think they're 6th in the Eastern Conference right now. So I don't know if they want to blow that up.
But
it's just an idea.
I was actually hearing rumors about that. Michael Jordan getting both of those Ball brothers together. And let's not forget what LeVar said. You pair all 3 of them together, it's a championship.
I just wanted to say that LeVar literally, I forget what it was on. It was on some kind of ESPN call with somebody. He said he said Jello is better than Melo. He was like, you don't think I know that Jello is better than Melo? Like, he'll be on the NBA soon. So if they could get all 3 of these guys on the same team, bro.
I think LiAngelo was the one that led the team in scoring when they played in high school. I'm pretty sure he was the one that was always leading.
Yeah, but he was also big body, and he probably just caught.
Yeah, he's got a weird game.
He would probably just catch passes like in the post and just put up weak ass hook shots.
I mean, I could probably see why like LeVar is saying that he's the best out of all of them. Probably because he's just like a straight up bucket. Yeah, like a scorer. And like Lonzo and LaMelo are like maybe a little bit more
I know why he says he's the best. Because his game resembles LeVar's game when he was there.
Probably. Yeah, that's probably what it is, honestly.
He's got such a weird game. Like he can shoot. He's probably the best shooter out of all three of them. But he's like 6'5" and he weighs like 230. Like he
But
Yeah,
just can't move. Like he can't.
PJ Tucker.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. PJ Tucker just
I've been hearing more and more though with LeVar, like, I mean, I guess he likes to speak for his sons all the time, which is a pretty apparent. But he recently said that Lonzo is like really, really not happy with the situation in
I
New
saw that
Orleans.
too. Yeah, I saw that too.
And anytime, I think, especially nowadays after that James Harden trade, I feel like anytime you're a player who's not happy with your situation, that puts way more pressure on the organization now as to should we try to trade this guy or should we try to keep him and get on his good side? But I don't know.
I feel like the thing with that though is one, he's not on the level of
Yeah.
James Harden.
True.
Clearly, he's not a caliber player. And two, like I feel like they at a certain point they had to get rid of Harden, Houston, because it was getting so toxic. Like I don't know if Lonzo is that kind of person. I mean, I can't obviously say
Well,
that
also
for sure
like the
'cause I
buzz
don't
around
know.
James Harden in general, I guess, would just amplify it. But if you look at players like Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, who they could still necessarily play, but the teams that they're on right now, they don't really need them to play while they're trying to look for other teams that they can dish them out to. You know what I'm saying? So I don't
You
think
mean
it's
Blake? Like you mean Blake before the trade happened?
yeah. So I
Okay.
don't think it's necessarily just like a James Harden thing. I think we're starting like even PJ Tucker. He wanted out. We see it with LaMarcus Aldridge, and the teams have no problem just obviously understanding their situation.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about all that. I mean, that guy James Harden was like, he really was like, this team is not good enough for me to stay here. Like he basically said that, and then as soon as he left, I mean, now they're on like a 17, 18 game losing streak. But as soon as he left, they went on they were playing pretty well for a week or two there. So it's like,
Yeah,
were
I
they
mean
really that bad? But
they left or they lost obviously Christian Wood and John Wall. Like I think that's why they were losing. Like
yeah,
their two best players
and they let
that
they cut
17
DeMarcus
losing streak.
Cousins too. So
Yeah. It's just been a rough season.
Monty doing all the offense.
Well, I guess really for our final segment, NCAA tournament started this week. And it's been a pretty crazy year, I guess. I mean, all season long was crazy, obviously, because of the coronavirus pandemic. But this tournament has been living up to its hype. I think everyone is happy to see it come back finally. I'm actually looking at my bracket right now, and of the games today, and we're recording this on Saturday, I've only gotten one pick wrong on today's games, and that was UConn losing to Maryland. I had UConn winning that game. But Toby, we were talking about this earlier. Ohio, they beat Virginia, like I
Wow.
said they would. Virginia, the 4 seed, losing to Ohio, the 13th seed. Yes, sir.
And who was the other?
That guy, Jason Preston, he's nice on Ohio.
Who was
But what were
the
you saying,
other
Justin?
upset?
Ohio
Yeah,
State.
Oral Roberts. Yeah.
Funnily enough, it was Ohio State that lost and Ohio
Tough.
wins.
That's tough.
How about that?
Shout out Ohio.
Yeah, it's also Oregon State beat Tennessee, which was a pretty big upset.
Oh yeah.
And
Tennessee was really good this year.
Yeah. So, and I was also happy to see Rutgers win.
True. Shout out Rutgers.
Given that we're from Jersey, I was
not
good
happy to see that Georgetown lost. I was at work today and I was talking to my boss and I was like, yeah, I can't wait. This Georgetown game's coming on today. And I come back from doing a delivery and I walk in and they're down like it was like 43-27 and my boss is like, this is the game you were waiting for?
I'm pretty sure Colorado scored like 96 points in that game, which was the most of the tournament this year.
Come on, Pat Ewing.
So
All right, let me
no, they'll be better next
let
year.
me
I
ask
think.
you boys a quick question. Who do y'all got for winning it all at this point?
I didn't even bracket.
Well, I mean, I picked Gonzaga to win it all in like my main bracket, I guess you could call it. But I don't know how I really feel about that one because
Why not? They're still
I just
undefeated.
going undefeated is just like unheard of.
Doesn't
really is.
doesn't
And-
Gonzaga play in like a really weak conference too? Like, aren't they really like?
Yeah, they play in the West Coast Conference. But I mean, I feel like that's never been held against them because they always like there's obviously a conference schedule and a non-conference schedule, and whenever they have their non-conference schedule, they always like play the best teams in the country and they always like kill them. And that's what happened this year. I think they beat like I can't even remember who they beat, but they literally beat like all the top teams at the beginning of the season, like Kansas.
And they have Luca Garza too, right?
No, that's Iowa.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
They have
wait.
they have
Okay, never mind.
Jalen Suggs, Corey Kispert,
Okay.
and Drew Timmy.
Okay, I was thinking of
think
the wrong team.
Literally all three of them could be drafted this year, like in the first round.
Yeah, Jalen Suggs. He's like a top 10 pick. I think he's a projected top 10 pick.
Yeah, their team is insane, and that's why I was like, okay, if there's gonna be a team that's gonna go undefeated and win it all, I think they could do it because they're that good. They literally average like 92 points a game, which in college is just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I think they can. We'll see.
All right.
One game at a time.
Well, I think you're wrong.
What do you have, Tobe?
Because, in my opinion, the best team in college basketball this year is Illinois.
right.
Shout out to Io
Yes,
Dosunmu.
sir.
Yeah. I think he was born actually in Chicago himself, but
Which makes
Just
it
a-
even sicker.
the way he plays, especially being in college, we usually see certain teams, play similarly with each other, a lot of ball movement. But this guy is just a dimer. He's just simply a dimer. He's not afraid to celebrate, I guess, is what I want to say. And you could just tell through the way he plays, he has a lot of confidence, which is what you need. And he just always makes the right play. I don't think anybody's going to beat Illinois this year.
I mean, that's not even a bad pick. They're definitely one of the best teams. Like,
Aren't they the 1 seed?
yeah, I don't know what region they're in.
What is it?
the
What team are we
Midwest.
talking about?
Illinois.
Yeah, they are the 1 seed. I'm looking at it right now.
In the Midwest. They actually
I
play
also-
Loyola
I also
Chicago,
quickly
funnily enough,
mentioned-
in the second round. Another, obviously, Chicago team. What? What were you saying?
I just wanted to quickly mention shout out LSU. Shout out to my boy Cam Thomas.
See,
Cam Thomas, yes, sir.
I'm looking at this now, Toby, and if there's any team that I think that could win it all, if I could find it, it's the team that's playing LSU in the next round of the thing. Michigan. I think Michigan and my boy Juwan Howard is
Really?
going
I
to
don't
bring
know.
them all the way.
I'm pretty sure, actually, I picked LSU to win that game in my bracket.
I think I did too.
Michigan's better prove you guys wrong.
I mean, they're probably right,
No.
but I just feel like LSU has what it takes because their offense is crazy. And like I feel like if they can just put up a ton of points against Michigan, they might win that game. So we'll
And
see.
They at least today they clamped up too. I mean, they were playing a
Yeah, they play.
Don't
against
sleep
Tennessee.
on Syracuse.
Yeah, I had Syracuse winning their first round matchup, even though they were the lower seed. Syracuse
I did
is nice.
too.
I like Syracuse. But shout out Oklahoma State and Cade Cunningham. I can't wait to see what he can do in the NBA because that guy, the more the season's gone on, the more I'm just like, all right, this guy literally might be like the next, I don't even know.
What
Hall
if
of
he's
Fame
not?
talent.
What if he's not?
I have
He could just be
I am, like-
completely ass.
I find that like so hard to even believe because
Who's on Baylor? Why are these clowns from the 1 seed?
Clowns. No,
Baylor?
Baylor's tough.
Baylor's nice.
Baylor has like 4 players that are all just complete dogs. They have Jared Butler, who's one of the best like point guards in the country, and then Davion Mitchell, who I think is like won the Defensive Player of the Year, might be one of the best perimeter defenders in the country. And then they have what's his name, Mark Vital, I think, who's just big body. You got to look at it. You got to look him up because that guy is just a tank, I think. And then one more guy, I can't remember. But literally, no, Mark Vital is literally like 6'5", 250. Like that guy is a truck.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I love their team. Oh, Maceo Teague, that's his name. Yeah, that guy's yeah. Baylor is nice. I have Baylor winning in another bracket. Yeah, they're a really good team.
I definitely think Kansas. Their time is almost over.
Yeah, I don't believe in Kansas that much. I think I have them because I think they face USC, the Mobley brothers, in the second round. I think I have them winning over Kansas.
Mobley's nice.
Yeah, we could see a lot of those NBA draft prospects take their teams pretty far in this year's tournament, which is fun, obviously.
I hope Iowa loses because I don't
Garza,
like him at all.
I think they're gonna. I don't know.
He's not that good.
They're gonna go. I think they're gonna go pretty far.
I think. Well, he's good.
He's good.
But just compared
I
to
respect what he's doing. He's good.
He's good. No, he's good. But just compared to other college kids, if you put him in the NBA, I don't think he has.
But he'll have an NBA career. He can shoot.
Isn't he already a senior? Like no disrespect.
I mean, he'll probably get drafted. If you can't not like, if you're literally like regarded as the best player in college basketball for like 2 straight years, like you're probably gonna get drafted.
I get that, but like
even if you're a senior,
with big men, especially in the past, I think we've seen more bust big men than we've seen.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna be like what he is in college, and then like I don't think he's gonna average like 20 and 10 in the NBA, but he'll definitely be like a solid contributor somewhere.
Like, remember that guy Frank the Tank?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. He'll probably have like a career like him, or like someone like
Cantor,
like the Hansberg. What's his name? Tyler Hansberg.
That guy was nice. What was his name on UNC? He had a nickname.
I don't remember.
It was just like Crazy T or something like that. It was just
Probably.
something.
That sounds right. That's funny.
That guy was, I remember that guy in college. That guy was crazy. It's really weird to think though that like all these guys in this tournament, like that literally could have been one of us. If we were nice at ball, we could have been one of these clowns.
Right. Yeah, I probably would have won the whole thing. No cap.
What school would you have wanted to go to?
That's a good question.
You wanted to lead a school to an NCAA championship. Which school would it be?
Lead a school? Oh, definitely Syracuse. I'd follow in the footsteps of Carmelo Anthony, one of the goats.
Carmelo Anthony.
I would go to Syracuse and take that school.
I would have to choose a New Jersey school. So maybe even Seton Hall.
Seton Hall, yes sir.
Maybe Rutgers. But New Jersey doesn't have that great of college teams, to be honest.
They will limit, and they don't sleep. If Rutgers wins another game, I bet you they start getting a lot of really good recruits to their school.
I hope so. I mean, that would be nice.
It'd be fun.
Because
New Jersey basketball, like I'm watching this tournament.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Like, all the players, like I'm pretty sure every single team they said in the tournament has at least one player from New Jersey. Think about that. Like that's kind of crazy. Like even the teams that are out in the West Coast have players from New Jersey. Like,
no, so often I'll be watching a college game and somebody I don't know will be like on the free throw line or something, and they'll be like, "This guy from Newark, New Jersey." And I'm like, "Hey,
exactly." Like it's just always, it's crazy.
It makes no sense. I mean, it does because New Jersey's nice and people don't put enough respect on it.
I feel like people don't realize how big New Jersey is or how many people live here. That's why.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Most densely populated state in the country.
Plus, you look at the NBA players already that are from New Jersey. You got Kyrie.
They are.
You got big Carl Anthony Towns.
Kyle
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Kyle
Yeah, he's from
Anderson.
Metuchen.
Kyle Anderson is
Yeah,
from New Jersey.
Anderson. It's probably so many people that we're just forgetting.
Yeah, literally. If I tried to name them right now, I probably wouldn't. I think Bam is from New Jersey. Bam Adebayo. Pretty sure he's from Newark.
Yeah, I think he is actually.
But
I
yeah,
know Kobe.
Miles
Kobe
Powell.
is from like he was like right across the bridge in PA. Like he wasn't far away.
Mm-hmm. And Miles Powell.
Yes,
Miles Powell,
sir.
baby.
Miles Powell.
What Trenton makes the world takes, baby.
All right, if the Bucks win the finals, it's just because of him. I don't care if Giannis averages.
Not
50.
Giannis, not anyone else.
Nah.
All right. Is that everything?
That's all I got.
I think so.
This was fun.
Listen,
Show.
next show is going to be a good one because we're actually going to find out who's going where, who's going to
Ooh,
get
I
traded.
didn't even.
And
yeah,
then
it
from
is.
that,
It's gonna
from
probably
this-
be better than this one because we're not gonna sound like idiots.
from that point on, we're gonna know. Like, okay, this is the final form of this team. Are they good enough?
Yeah, that's when you can really start making predictions about like who's gonna win because
Yeah.
you don't know. You just don't know who's gonna be where at the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I really hope the Knicks don't blow this.
They're gonna fumble the bag. They're gonna fumble the bag.
I don't care if we make a move. I don't care if we don't make a move. But if we do make a move, please don't do something stupid.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see on Thursday. I think it is the trade deadline. So Thursday is the day.
Oh man, I'm gonna be at work.
Yeah.
It's all gonna be while I'm at work.
All right. Well, another good episode.
Shout out to John Ross and Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, go Giants.
Nah.
Eagles. Eagles fan. All right. Until next time. We'll see y'all. From myself, Jorie Mickens, and my two co-hosts, Justin Sadovi and Chris Tobias, thank you so much for listening to that episode of the Full Court Report NBA show. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at FullCReport, on Instagram at the.fullcourt.report. Like and comment on this video and subscribe so you never miss a minute of action.